Hey there, everyone. You watch TC's World, and I'm Tim. And we're still out here on the unmarked trail now, out to the house on Deep Pond. And just finished part 1. You're now watching part 2 of the hike, the long hike out to Deep Pond. Starting off where we left off on part 1 here at the dam. And there's a lot of cool and interesting, beautiful things to see past this point. It's just we're all on the unmarked trails now, the white dot trail, which is technically unmarked, but we're gonna be following that. There's a lot of, like I said, a lot of cool, interesting things to see along this section of the trail. So put this back in time warp, and we'll stop at the interesting places like I normally do. So enjoy. So this is a really, this is the first really cool thing we've come across since starting part 2. And it's the first stream crossing of part 2. We cross over the stream here. And keep going. Have Nikki cross over. Like a champ.
Trying.
Now this trail gets a little bit less refined. But it's still marked with these white dots, which does make it followable, which be good for any of my viewers that wish to follow this trail. This makes it way easier for you guys to find it, follow it, as you just you look for these white dots on the trees. So this area of the trail is a little flooded out. Makes it a little challenging. Always up for a good challenge. Good challenge is always fun. My wife is on the phone in the background there, so. So you want to get across this.
We're in Rhode Island.
But we're still following these white dots. Here's one right here on the tree still. And it's a lot of beautiful, beautiful country to cover from here out to the house on Deep Pond. this is the trail now, and the white dots are still there. I still see them every once in a while, but this section of the trail is harder to follow. It's more rugged, but it's also very beautiful. It's got a lot of mountain laurels, and down in this mountain laurel swamp area, ledges on each side of us. Here's one of those white dots. So if you are adventurous enough and you can navigate well, you should be able to follow this trail. So, come across this really unique swampy area, which I've always thought was really cool along this trail. Very beautiful. It's starting to green up real nice now in the spring. Still following the dots. There's another tree with a dot on it. Another stream crossing to go across here. But there's something about this spot that's just really, really cool. It's very tranquil. Maybe it's this stream flowing down into this swamp. We've got a lot of hemlocks here, a little hemlock grove, and it's very rocky on the left here. There's a lot of ledges and stuff up there. But it's just a very cool, tranquil place. Along this trail would be a great place to stop and take a little break if you wanted. So this is some of the cool stuff that you'll come across out here along this trail, is these big ledges. There's a few of these big ledges we passed. So this is the one you get real close to. Still dot marks on the trees. But there's all kinds of other little trails that lead up to the tops of some of these ledges. This is a pretty tall one. This is probably a good 35 to 40 feet tall. Very cool. It's very flat. I don't know if you'd actually be able to rock climb. It might be a cool thing to rappel off of if you're into that kind of thing. But what a beautiful day out here. Awesome day hiking this trail. I'm glad some of it's been hard to navigate, but I'm glad we're still on it. So this is the spot where we leave the white dot trail. It wants us to go to the right. We're going to go to the left, meet back up with another marked trail. I think it's the Dye Hill Trail.
Yeah, that is nuts.
And that'll bring us out towards Deep Pond, and then we'll hike another unmarked trail around Deep Pond to the house on Deep Pond. So head off to the left from this marker. I always remember where it is by this big giant ledge in the distance, which you probably won't be able to see on the camera from here. So there's this little rough side trail that brings us across this way. And I always remember it by the ledge off there in the distance. There's a ledge that sticks up right here off in the distance. And once I get out this far, I kind of look for it. And that tells me that I need to take the trail to the left, which is just kind of a rough unmarked trail. And that brings me out to, I believe it's the Dye Hill Trail. I believe it's, actually, I don't even know what color it is. We'll find out when we get there. But I know which direction I'm going. I've done this hike many times before. It's a little hard for me to explain it properly, but I'm trying here. So off we go towards Deep Pond. So we met up with I believe it's the Dye Hill Trail, and it is blue. I was going to say blue, but I wasn't totally sure. It's not the baby blue like the blue blazes in Connecticut. It's more of a darker blue. And we'll be on this trail for just a little ways as we head off towards Deep Pond itself. And then once again, we'll leave a marked trail and take an unmarked trail around Deep Pond to the back side of it where the house resides. Yep. So the blue trail is the Dye Hill Trail. The Dye Hill Trail then meets up with the Bushy Brook Trail. And so we'll be hiking both of these trails now together out towards Deep Pond. For reference, for anyone that wants to find this, taking a different trail, you can take the Dye Hill Trail or the Bushy Brook Trail from wherever they start out to this point. Walk out towards Deep Pond and then go around to the house if you wanted to. So now we're going to be leaving the Bushy Brook and the Dye Hill Trail to go down this unmarked trail, completely unmarked. This should be the trail that brings us out to Deep Pond, to the house on Deep Pond. We'll find out very shortly as we walk down it, because we should get a view of the pond to the left. So right down there is Deep Pond. You get a pretty good view of it from up here on this little ledge, this little ridge that we're hiking. And on the back side of this pond is an old pond house, old lake house, which would have probably been beautiful back in its day when it was first built and occupied. It's the only house that I think was ever built on this pond. And I believe Deep Pond is a natural pond. It's a natural lake. It's spring fed. It's very clean water. I imagine the fishing out here is probably awesome. And yeah, this is just a beautiful, beautiful place to go to, beautiful hike to take. Lots of cool things to see. Put this back on time warp, and next stop will be the house on Deep Pond. We got the swamp crossing now. This was one of our last major hurdles to get across over to the backside of Deep Pond. And there's rocks under here, so that makes it a little bit easier. Not too many rocks though. Whoa. Careful, Nikki. This is not the best crossing. Is your foot wet?
No.
Okay. Welcome to the house, or I should say what's left of the house on Deep Pond. First time I ever found this place, it was still standing, and it was it must have been a beautiful place. But this pile of rubble is all that's left. The chimney is the only thing still standing proud here. Last time I was here, this wall, which is now down, was also still standing. But that is, it was the last wall to fall. But this place used to be really, really cool when I first discovered it, and you could go inside. You know, it had a full roof over it and stuff. It was still pretty solid. It was all gutted inside, and the upstairs was all gutted, but it was a pretty cool little lake house, little lake cabin, and it would have been the only place out here on Deep Pond. You know, this would have been the view you got. And I can only imagine what it must have been like living here. It must have been awesome. What an awesome place to hang out. This is one of the most peaceful and tranquil places I've found out here in Arcadia. And for someone to have had a cabin out here would have been just amazing. So it's too bad that it was left to rot and fall apart and to be destroyed. But its remnants lives on in this pile of debris that is left. And I'm not sure, Nikki paused her watch, so we're not going to get a full accurate measurement of our hike today, or for the second part anyways. But what are you thinking, Nikki? What are you up to for miles? 3.78, so that's not correct at all, because I know it's at least 5. So I know we've hiked at least 5 miles out to this point. I think it's a little bit further than 5 miles. I do apologize for not going to get an accurate measurement now of miles or elevation gain, but I can tell you that the second part of this hike is harder to navigate that trail, and it's a little hard to navigate the unmarked trail out here.
5.1 miles.
Okay, so she got 5.1 miles on her phone. That's more closer, more accurate. But you can hike out. I did an earlier video. The hike out to Deep Pond. Now you can take that trail out to Deep Pond and then follow the Dye Hill and the brook trail there, the Bushy Brook Trail, up to where I was on it in this video, and then you could follow that unmarked trail around the pond to get to this point as well. So there's multiple ways out to this spot, but it is a really, really cool spot to check out. It is a shame that the house has collapsed, but it's still really awesome. I also, I believe I have some pictures of what this house looked like when I found it still standing. When I found it, like I said, it was gutted inside, had no windows, had no doors, nothing like that, but it was still standing. It was still a complete structure. Still had a full floor inside and stuff like that. You could go in and hang out and chill out inside of this building at one time. So I do have pictures of when this thing was still standing. I will try to find those and post them in this video so everyone can see, to give you a better idea what this house might have looked like at one time. But yeah, beautiful day, Easter weekend. Awesome hike out to the house on Deep Pond. This is the part 2. You've been watching part 2 of the long hike out to Deep Pond, to the house on Deep Pond. And if you've enjoyed this video, click like and subscribe. Until next time.